anxiety, worry, but I'm not, nothing's coming up, right? Like,
You feel like something bad's going to happen?
I think that is probably like the underlying old trauma, right?
Like sometimes, um, like I said, the brain is trying to remember something so that it can recognize it and have it not happen again.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to let it go, your brain sometimes thinks that you're a little crazy. Like, why are you doing this? It's going to
Yeah.
happen again.
Okay. So how do
so we had you do Palo Santo. Let's have you do let's have you dig through like your kit and find poplar.
oh, okay.
Because the thing is like when you start to get into something like that, poplar is very good for like stimulating all the brain waves.
Okay.
So it will help you blow through that part of your brain that's like getting stuck on that thing.
Okay. All right.
You could approach it like trauma, but like you've already done all that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's some part of your brain that was like the stronger the emotion or the more repetitive the thought, the stronger that this part of the brain is going to go, I'm not letting this go. So if it was very traumatic, it takes more for the brain to be able to go,
Okay.
yeah. So
All
let's see
right.
if the poplar helps.
All right. Thanks.
Go ahead, Paulina.
Another question, Greg. I don't remember a lot of things from my childhood.
Okay.
I blocked it. So do you think this can unblock the things that I don't remember?
If you formed memories, like sometimes if we were, I don't know, having a hard time or, not focused on something, you might not have formed the memories. So you can try. And if the memories are there, but you just are not able to tap into it, it will help. But if you didn't form the memories, there's nothing to reach back to.
Thanks.
Okay.
And then let me just make sure we didn't get me in share here. I think we're
Okay,
good.
anybody here? Yeah.
I know. Okay. When you were talking about the difference between observation and the experience of what earlier I was not thinking of this situation, but I had a much older situation and when I was in college, I just had like a letting go, like a sudden like epiphany, to what the thing. And I think it was because the class I was taking, that's what they had us doing, was observing children and observing their development and observing what was going on. And all at once I realized, oh, that's,
Right.
So
yeah, very good.
Back to me, and
Very good. Yeah, that observation. I mean, it doesn't matter how you got there. It could be, but I mean, that's what they're teaching you to do. Also, it helps you to evaluate behaviors and things like that and recognize patterns. Yeah.
So it was kind of natural for me, but I wasn't so aware that I was just looking at myself as well. But
right.
But I was.
Right, exactly. So she was saying that when she was young, she was going through school and part of her education
was when I was in college.
Yeah, so she was in college and they would have them sit and just observe and watch children's behavior. You would just sit and watch how they behave and how they react, and And, you know, so she had developed this ability for watchfulness or observation. And just hadn't applied it to certain areas in her past, but when she started doing it, it just started unwinding like, you know, how we're talking about.
I'll get a little more specific.
Yeah.
I was 7 years old, I was put back in second grade. It was very traumatic for me.
Mhm.
And I carried that up until I was 20.
Right.
And I was sitting in this class after we are having to look at the very different developmental stages of children.
Mhm.
What's the 1-year-old like, a 2-year-old, with, you know, these
Mhm.
different stages, and it allowed me to observe to the point where I realized the situation and the things that had happened that I had blamed myself for were not totally
Right.
my behavior.
Right.
It was not totally that I had done this.
Right.
It was just somewhat of the situation.
Right. Right. They could, yeah. Okay, and Babette, you had that?
I felt very cranky. I mean,
Mhm.
chewing people like cranky, recreationally throw dishes cranky. And now I feel really less cranky, but really teary.
Yeah.
We just, and I don't, that formication of emotions rising, but no particular place to, I can't say I feel this, I just feel.
Mhm. So she was saying that, like when we got done with the practice, right? That she felt very cranky, and then you felt less cranky. How did you say it?
I wanted to recreationally throw dishes.
Yeah.
And
More
then
sad.
I
Yeah,
wanted to,
she,
and then I felt real, now I'm feeling kind of teary.
Yeah.
To the point where I actually have fluid on my face.
yeah.
I don't know,
So she went from being cranky to
teary.
wanting to break dishes, and now she's kind of sad. And so here's the thing, and she doesn't know what it is, but here's the thing, a lot of times it's not about a situation, it's just an inner state, right? Yes, it happened because of different situations, but as much as you think of those situations, kind of doesn't matter. You're just letting go of the impacted emotion. Going back to why we can't shift and change. You know, why, like, what makes us be able to start feeling like we're changing inside and that we are never changing inside? The thing that makes our brain and everything fixate is either super strong lower emotions or repetitive thought. Bottom line. Doesn't matter how it got there, but if it's there, something's happening. So a lot of times we're super impacted with, you know, because even the idea of like my knee hurts, right? Okay, my knee hurts. It's sharp stabbing pain. Every time I walk, it hurts. So yes, you're feeling physical pain, but your body is trying to get your attention. Hey, there's something going on here. So it generates pain, which then generates an emotional response to try to get you to take care of that quicker so you don't further injure the body. Right? It seems ridiculous because it usually makes things worse, but it's trying to get your attention. So what happens over a period of time, your bad knee turns into hurt feelings. Like it doesn't actually even take very long. It happens way quicker than you would think. And so then all of a sudden you have chronic pain and you start looking around and you're going, which one of you guys has been hurting my feelings? It's been the knee all along. But you notice like people in chronic pain, they start getting crankier and crankier with the people around them. One of you guys is doing something to me. Which one of you is it? Right? It's because the feelings are there. So then you start trying to make sense out of who's doing this. We look external, but the issue is actually the knee. Right? So you go through and you do this. It could be an accident, it could be an injury, it could be a jerk at work, it could be your family, it could be, you know, I mean, I treated this one person one time, she would get really bad anxiety attacks whenever she got cold. I was like, well, is there a reason? And she was like, no. And so I just started clearing out the emotions associated with being cold. Like I just, I had to sit and kind of think about it. And then I started working on it. And it took several sessions. And all of a sudden, she didn't have it at all anymore. But she said she remembered when she was a little kid, they went on like some snow trip. She got super cold. Her clothes got wet. She was just freezing for a long period of time. And she doesn't remember it until we went through and cleared all that stuff. But she had a traumatic event where she had a big emotional response to cold. And then every time it was cold, trigger, 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 trigger. So it wasn't just the event, it was all the little triggers after that, all impacted in her body. So whatever got released, it's great when we know what it is, but there's usually more of what we don't know what it is than what we know. At first, you're exploring what you know, and you go, okay, mind, calm down. Okay, mind, calm down. Mind, okay, let go, let go, let go. But then the deeper work is like all that stuff that you don't know about.
You mentioned two things, strong lower emotion, and the second thing was.
Repetitive thought.
Repetitive thought. Thank you.
Anybody else? So before we go for a break, I know there's probably, well, how about we'll do a bathroom break and then we'll come back and do something.
Okay.
5 after. We'll come back up 5 after. So see you in 15 minutes. Okay, so we went through and we did the big long run, right? We did from the top of the head down to the bottom of the torso. Very interesting, huh? It just goes to show, even though we think we're feeling okay, how much is trapped in our body. How much it's not even that it's like trapped. It's just there's levels or degrees that the body is agitated, and it's just in a maintenance routine in that level of agitation. And you calm it down, and all of a sudden you realize, like, I was a little bit more sad, I was a little bit more angry, I was a little bit more fill in the blank. I didn't realize. For me, I would say I was a little more traumatized than I thought. I really didn't think I was like that traumatized. And then when I started going through and unwinding it, I was like, some of these situations really hurt my feelings. I didn't cognitively know it at the time, but as it left, I realized my feelings were really quite hurt. And so even in, this is the premise of Tantric Buddhism. Basically, it just means energy Buddhism. And the thing is sometimes we don't recognize these things until we've moved them or shifted them or, released them a little bit. And then your mind has the experience that it can go to. Remember, the intellect doesn't embrace new things. It always looks at past experiences. So the premise of Tantric Buddhism is you shift something internally, and then you stand back and go, now, what the F was that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my feelings were hurt. But like when yeah, exactly. When you look at it, you go, yeah, there's nothing there. But then you shift it and you go, no, there was a lot there. I just didn't recognize it. I just didn't recognize it. So in the tantric practice, you use tools, you shift things, and then you step back and then you just watch. Okay, what's going on? And then in the movement, you see what really happened, what really is going on in the inner state, right? So to kind of build on that in a softer way than what we just did, part of another way of saying that is there's a little bit of a disconnect between the mind and the body. You know, like emotionally, mentally, you go into a situation, you're like, yeah, I got this all figured out. It's not stressful. It's not upsetting. You know, emotionally, mentally, I'm good. And then you get in there and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted. I got triggered a little bit. I can't wait to get out of there. Emotionally, mentally, you weren't stressed out, but you know what? Your body was like, dude, what are we doing here? Get out of here. Don't do this. This is chaos. Sometimes it's just that the situation is chaos. It's chaotic, right? And so your body has the response. So a lot of what you're doing here is you're calming down part of your body that impacts your emotions and your thoughts. So a quick trick or a quick hack to this is you have your etheric cords. Here's what you do. You close your eyes. You can do this just by itself, or you can think of a situation. How about at first, we'll think of a situation. It usually is easier this way. So just think of something, somebody, something, someone that bothers you, just even if it's just a little bit. Could be something big, could be something small.
Could be something from the past.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. Could be past, could be active, could be even speculation of something that might be. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Can be the same thing that you were thinking about earlier today, could be different, doesn't matter. So you're not even inhaling at this part. Just think of the situation. Just recall it. And going back to Tracy's aura ring, just recalling the obnoxious person at work raised her nervous system up to a very stressful situation just by thinking about the guy. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to access that part of you so that you can go through and address it. Bless you. Okay, so you've thought about the person, the place, the situation, the event, whatever it is. Now let it go. Pay attention to your body. Where do you feel something in your body? Tension, heaviness, pain, agitation, wherever that is, you're just sitting there being still. Observe that part of your body. You're not trying to relax it. You're not trying to make it go away. You're just sitting there watching it. You're just practicing watchfulness. You're still just observing. Now you're still watching and observing that part of your body. Begin inhaling the oil with your awareness on that area in your body. And then just let it go for a moment. Just let your body, let the inhalation, let everything go. Think of that same situation again. Whatever it was. If it seems a little different, good, go with it. If it seems the same, observe it. But just whatever it was, observe it. Where do you feel it in your body? Let go of the event or the person. Just where do you feel it in your body? What area in your body jumps out at you first? Is there tension in the spine? Is there pain in your jaw? Your head hurt? Did your back hurt? Did your hamstrings tighten up? Diaphragm? You're still observing that in your body? Begin inhaling the oil. Then just let go. Now, completely let go, but be aware of your nostrils. You're being aware of your nostrils, not the air moving in and out. You're just paying attention to your nostrils themselves. Bless you. Don't follow your breath. Don't try to control your breath. Just try to stay focused on your nostrils. Let go of the nostrils. Just let go. You're still being still. Just observe the thoughts as they arise in your mind. Just let everything go. Check in with your body. Where do you feel something in your body? A tightness in the chest, an ache, a pain. Observe that situation. Inhale the oil. Keep your awareness on that area in your body and inhale. And then just be still. Just be still. Okay, just let it all go. We're gonna slide right into deeper calming down of lower emotions. We're letting go of the etheric cord component. So we're on segment 8. There's a bunch of choices for you. Acacia, any sort of chamomile, ginger lily. For those that have the kit for purchase, green heart. Green heart's really good for this. Helichrysum, hinoki, hyssop, juniper, marjoram, melissa, palo santo, poplar, rose, St. John's wort, tuberose, and blends could be allay, emotional elevation, emotional release, and heavy-hearted. So choose something out of that. Here in person, we're using hyssop. If you have the kit for purchase, green heart's in there. I would use green heart. Mhm. Okay, so we're gonna inhale with our awareness on the lungs. So your awareness is on your lungs. You're just taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Segment 8. 8, just follow along. Yeah, yeah. Your awareness is on your lungs. Move your awareness to your liver. Your liver, right hand side of your body, below your ribs. Now you're going to go to your midline, 2 inches to the right, below the ribs. So you're going to your midline, 2 inches to the right, below your ribs. This will impact the gallbladder area. Your awareness is on your kidneys. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths to your awareness on the kidneys. Awareness is still on the kidneys. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breath. And then your awareness is over on the spleen, left-hand side of the body, below the ribs. And then pause and let go. Let's do another round of that. So begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the lungs. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the lungs. Bless you. Move your awareness to the liver. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness to the liver, right hand side of your body below the ribs. Your gallbladder. So go to your midline, 2 inches to the right, below the ribs. Your awareness is on your kidneys. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the kidneys. and the spleen. Left hand side below your ribs. Left hand side of your body below your ribs. Just be still, be aware, just let go. Just let go of everything. Notice your body, your emotions, your thoughts. What do you notice? Go ahead and share experiences, give feedback, ask questions, process it. You can unmute yourself or type in, or here you can raise your hand.
Is it easier for something to dissipate that's over?
Doesn't,
or newer?
so she's asking, is it easier for something older to dissipate or newer? It kind of doesn't matter the age, it's more the intensity. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So if it's really intense, it takes a while longer. Because it could be old and not that intense, it could be new, not that intense. It really wouldn't matter. But like if there's a lot of repetitive thought or there's a really strong emotion or a strong feeling, at some point that's affected like your inner state, because even if you look at the idea of like loving kindness or truth, it's not an idea or a way of thinking. It's actually a state of the body. Like when you're in alignment with truth, it's like coming from the inside out. It's not something like a lot of times when we're doing things from intellect, we're kind of impersonating something. Like this is the way I should act. This is the way I should behave. This is what good boys do. This is what bad boys do. You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of impersonating something. And a lot of times, because it's gone through generations, you're impersonating an impersonation of an impersonation of an impersonation that has just gone on for generations, right? So when it comes from the inside out, like these things are a reflection of like the symptoms are a reflection of like the inner state. So a good example, this is one I keep saying, but like you look at and the idea of a whiplash, like somebody gets into a car accident, bam, they hurt their neck. So they have a set of symptoms like that first week, and they're not feeling good. This hurts, that hurts. And you kind of treat the symptoms. And then in 3 weeks, they're still not feeling good. And now they have other symptoms, like other things are going on. So if you keep chasing the symptoms, really, you're just always trying to slap band-aids on things when really the body is in the state of degeneration. You have to pull the body out of that downward spiral. Otherwise, those symptoms just keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so those injuries, those symptoms are a reflection of that the body is in a degenerative state. It's in fight flight, it's in defense mode because of the trauma, right? So defense mode is tied to fight flight. Regeneration is tied to rest and repair. So even though you calm down fight flight, doesn't mean that your body's also regenerating, because they're together, but they're separate. Like just because one like slows down doesn't mean the other one gets super stimulated, right? And so sometimes it's not even about like the old event itself. It's just that you might be in defensive mode. You might be in lacking the ability to regenerate yourself out of that. And so the intensity is more of like that state of like agitation or that state of defense. You're just trying to calm that down. As it does that, it calms down the situations, it calms down those past events, it calms down the memories, calms down how you get triggered by person X, person Y, and person Z. Like it just calms all that down. They didn't change, the situation didn't change, but how you feel inside changed. So then your interactions are a little bit different.
Like
You know,
your perception of it, or-
It's not even your perception, it's like your behavior and everything changes. Like, you know, I tell this, like I tell people sometimes when they're dealing with somebody difficult who's very critical of them, I always go, you know, they criticize you and you say, you know what, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. You know, at first you do what? You defend, you're like, I'm not this, like, how could you think that? You know, I did this dance with a family member of mine. They were just, to say obnoxious is to be polite about it. You know what I mean? They were effing obnoxious, right? They were just, ugh. And every time I would see them, I would defend myself. I'd try to get them to understand or da 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 da. And you know, I was getting a little older, and so I started exploring some of these things that we do, right? And I got to a different inner state, right? So then, you know, here we go. It's holidays. They're going to come up. They're going to say the obnoxious thing, and they said a whole list of obnoxious things. And this was the birth of, well, aren't we a pair? How do you respond to that? Okay, you're calling me all those names. Acknowledge it. They're right back at you there, bucko. And all of a sudden, they blinked a couple of times and they were like, maybe you didn't hear what I said. And they said it again. Da, 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 I go, aren't we a pair? And that person avoided me every holiday after that.
Good for you.
But it was not because I was like, I'm going to convince them of this. I'm going to convince them of that. At some point, I was like, internally, I'm done with this. And I don't care what they have to say. What they have to say and their thoughts and their opinions, when I lay down at night, it doesn't cross my mind.
It's the,
They don't cross my mind. And so I was like, I'm in a place where I just don't care,
Mhm.
right? And so they said all those things. I was like, I think the second thing I said to him was like, I don't think you have very good opinions. You know, like just because you have an opinion doesn't mean you're right.
Right.
You don't have-
Correct. And for me, it's like, well, that's what you think.
Right.
It has
And-
nothing to
and-
do with me.
And so
That's right.
that starts to be more a reflection of you getting your feet under you internally so that somebody can't just go and push you over.
What you think is none of my business is my
Right.
standard
Right.
thing to my
Right,
relatives. that
right,
Treat me like that.
right. The other one that I like to say is, well, isn't that adorable?
Like that.
You are just adorable. All worked up with all your opinions. You know, because really,
Your shoulders need to go. down
Right.
about that.
because it's only valuable if I give it value.
Right.
So if I don't give it value, like, well, okay.
Whatever.
But
Yeah.
you have to get that to the inside because that you can't fake.
It's true.
You know what I mean? You can't go, aren't we adorable? Right back at you. Right? Because it's still hurting. But when you get to the place where you're like,
Detached.
yeah, whatever. Just whatever, So that's like a shift so that it's like how we were talking about the chords. At some point, cleaning the chords becomes irrelevant because there's not those connections. Like there's not even the ability for those things to connect.
Can Greg talk a little bit about green heart oil? It's so nice.
Yeah, green heart's very nice. It's a wood that comes out of Africa.
It
it's a-
smells like horsehair.
Yeah, it's really yeah, it's really from what I understand, a really hard wood. But it's not very common. It's very, very
I think that's what I smelled when they would burn it on the fire. Like,
when you're in Africa.
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's supposed to be like a really super hard wood.
it was so strange. I'm
So-
like, that doesn't smell like wood.
It has very similar properties to like aloes. It's not like aloes wood is a really unique oil because most plants are producing like an essential oil as a result of something in the environment. Like, hey, there's bugs. We're trying to chase the bugs away. We're trying to attract bees. We're trying to keep deers from eating us, whatever it is. Aloes doesn't produce an essential oil until after it dies, like the tree dies, and then it gets infected with like a parasite of some sort. And the interaction between the parasite and the dead wood produce this essential oil. So it's it's the most rare oil of all the essential oils. So it has these like certain properties that other oils just don't have. Green heart's kind of in that vein. It doesn't form that way, right? But it still has some of the similar properties. Anybody else?
I do have a question.
Mhm.
The difference, like you list a bunch of different oils and like. What does green heart do different from?
These all just would be about releasing the lower emotion, right? Homeostatic emotion. In other areas, they do other things, but this is just the homeostatic emotion. So, yeah.
So is this step a standalone?
Yeah, totally. Everything we've done today is a standalone.
Oh, so in other words, well, I was wondering, because it's in this order, were we releasing emotions that had come up earlier in the processes? Or
Yeah,
just-
earlier. So she's asking, did we release emotions that came up earlier? There's some of that, but also just emotions from 40 years ago or 30 years ago, or because it's like a lot of times we think of emotion as something that's accumulated, but think of it as there's things in your body that are constantly generating those homeostatic emotions, right? So this just has a calming effect on the thing that generates those emotions. Like when we're walking around going, trigger, 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 trigger. All of a sudden you have things in your body goes, okay, produce the emotions. Get upset so you can fight. Get scared so you can run, whatever it is. So it's not so much about releasing the emotions, it's calming down the thing that goes trigger, 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 trigger. How you doing? Trigger. How you doing? Trigger. Go see my family. Trigger, 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 trigger. It's a way of just calming those responses down. So it's not necessarily about an event. It's not necessarily about what's accumulated. It's just like deeper levels of relaxing. And in that, sometimes things release, some things come out, some things release in your mind, and sometimes you just feel more relaxed. Yeah.
So again, it's a good just standalone.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I felt a lot of body tension release.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was saying, again, asking like it's a standalone. She said that she felt a lot of body tension release. A lot of body tension is homeostatic emotion. Yeah. So you would see it as tension in the body. You see it as areas not healing very fast or at all. You know how like sometimes no matter what you do, this area is not getting better. One of the things you look at is how much homeostatic emotion is trapped in the body so that the healing processes don't happen. Just like we were talking about before, where part of why we get stuck in situations in our mind and we can't change is we get fixated on these situations, right? The fixation is excessive homeostatic emotion in the mind. So the version of that in the body is like usually body tension or something doesn't heal. So there's a body version of it, and then there's a brain version of it. So either way, you're releasing both here, but a little bit more in the body. Yeah. Where we were looking at different situations going, things in the past, active situations, that person, you were doing a little bit more in your brain. Still releases, it still calms the body, but a lot of it was more in the brain. Where this piece where you do lungs, liver, that's calming down the body. Yeah. Yes, yes.
Does slow also show up in the blood? Because that's one of the things that cardiologists check is homeostatic level of the blood.
It can. Yeah, it can. Yeah, like you look at like things like heart issues, blood pressure, you look at like blood sugar issues, like all kinds of things, stress, all of that is a byproduct of homeostatic emotion or excessive amounts of intellect. Like your mind gets really super rigid, and so it manifests in the body as like things just almost go into like a crisis mode. If you think about how some of you guys had experiences where you're kind of like Tracy was saying, I micromanage that person because they remind me of somebody that hurt me when I was young, right? Your body does a version of that. I'm going to micromanage these processes in my body because I don't feel good, or I had an injury, or whatever might be happening.
I mispronounced that. It's homeostasis.
Oh no, that's yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Mhm.
I feel this weird push-pull. My mind is calm and my body's relaxed, and my right kidney particularly is very, very achy.
Maybe do a little bit more on your kidneys
Okay,
with the hyssop or whatever you're using.
the green heart.
Yeah, green heart. Yeah. Yes.
Not just in, but I'll give it the right time. This was, one of the essential ones I used to keep out of bath all the time. I would drop it in the tub every time I take a bath. And I had no idea it had such a calming, because when you started naming the parts, it's like, oh, I feel this, right?
Right. Yeah.
Driving here from Montgomery, got some startling news, so of course, not only my mind and body was going, ooh. So, it was a wonderful calming effect.
Oh, good.
Drop the things, and we were like, oh, not as serious.
Good.
But, yeah, so.
Yeah.
Just got back in the country, so, my husband had this horrible, I call it MERS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, which this would have just knocked all of that.
Right.
Out. But, I used a lot of other different herbs.
Right.
But that was like, wow, this is perfect time. For me.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, hyssop's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So she was just sharing that she used to work with hyssop, and she was having a difficult day, and how hyssop just kind of helped her calm down and drop into her body again. Anybody else?
After we did the calming down, I started having tears run down my face. My body had started pulsing from STP, ACJ. Wait, I have a feeling, here we go. Stomach to head. Sorry, it was just, I had to retype. And then I think insights will come later. I'm still pulsating through the heart, front and back and stomach.
So stomach and head. Yeah, maybe do some inhalation with your awareness on your arms and legs. I think that could be helpful for this person. Whatever you use for the lungs and liver and gallbladder and all that, do the same, but on your arms and legs.
They used acacia.
Ooh, acacia. Very nice.
Beware of acacia, they said.
Yeah, acacia's fancy. Acacia is considered a sacred wood. Anybody else? Okay, anybody else here? We have a little bit more time. How about we'll just experiment a little bit more? How are you doing? Okay? Your kidney okay?
It's still uncomfortable,
It's easy.
it's moving.
Yeah. Okay, so we had hyssop or whatever you were using at home. You know, like the person used acacia or anything from the list. Let's start to tap into what we're going to do tomorrow. Okay, so close your eyes and just whatever arises in the mind, just kind of watch that for a moment. You don't have to stimulate anything, just kind of watch what arises in the mind. If anybody needs a refresher, just raise your hand, she'll come back around. We're going to use the hyssop again, or green heart. So just watch whatever arises in the mind. Okay, and this is what you're gonna do. Well, just watch me for a second so we're all on the same page. You're going to hold the bottle to your chest. Chin goes down. Inhale. Hold your breath. Up. And then exhale. And then down. Inhale. Up. Exhale. 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 And then just be still. Keep your eyes closed. Just completely let go. Bottle to your chest. Chin down, inhale. Hold your breath, up, exhale. Down, inhale. 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 Up, exhale. Just be still. Think of one of those things that you thought about earlier in the day. The past event, the active situation, the negative person. You're reflecting on them. As you reflect on them, that situation, that past event, keep reflecting, but your awareness is on your front heart, center of your chest. You're just letting go of everything, but stay on the front heart. Start moving very small steps, but start moving deeper into the heart. moving towards the spine, but little tiny movements at a time. Move just a tiny little bit inward and then stop and be aware. And then go a little bit deeper and then stop and be aware. Just keep observing, keep being watchful. Go a little bit deeper in the heart. Move a little bit closer to the spine. And in this place, where you've gone a little bit deeper, just reflect on some different areas in your life. Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be bad. Just reflect. Just whatever arises in your mind. Yeah, oil to your chest. Chin down. Do 8 or 9 of the materialization breaths on your own pace. That same thing we were just doing. And just be still. How do you feel right now? Relaxed. How are you doing? Okay. We can share experiences if you want. It's not necessary. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of that tomorrow with different targets and different oils and things like that. But I thought we'd have a little experience that you went through and you did all that work with the the chords and the connections. And there you're starting to establish new patterns or different patterns. So we'll talk about it in the morning when you're not so relaxed or out of it or whatever. So, but if somebody wants to share, ask a question, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
Like for this last stuff with these oils, can you use cistus?
For the lower emotion, it would be okay. Yeah. Wouldn't be one of my top choices, but it would be okay.
It's because it's a deeper flush of stuff or more strong.
It's more unconscious. It's more like deep in the unconscious. Where here you're just trying to flush things out of the homeostatic emotions.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else here want to share or ask questions or break dishes? Are you wanting to break dishes still? Babette, are you wanting to break dishes still?
Do you still want to break dishes? Oh. No, not too
No,
much.
okay.
I don't want to beat the pan with a spoon though. That's for sure.
Well, it's your inner child that's happening right now, it's coming out.
Okay, I think we're done. Yeah. Okay, so I know we're about 15 minutes from the end of the day, so we'll just call it a little bit early and we'll get started at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And we're going to be working on the materialization process and what that looks like and why we do it and what is harmonics and all that kind of stuff. So we'll hit the ground running tomorrow and we'll have plenty of share and Q&A and all that. So get a good night's rest tonight and then we'll see you in the morning.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
Hey there. Thanks. I had a
Mhm.
quick question about segment
Sure.
7, going through the chakras.
Uh-huh.
Would there be any benefit to working in any of the minor chakras? In particular,
Yeah, you could.
jaw and
you-
temple?
Yeah, you could.
And-
Arms and legs.
And where in
yeah.
the sequence would they go? At the end or as
Yeah,
they
I'd probably do it.
follow? At
Yeah,
the
I'd
end?
probably. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're so welcome.
Go ahead, Sonia.
Hey.
Can you use coffee for the etheric chords too? The one first part.
It won't quite do the same thing.
Okay.